everybody, this is People Con, and today we thought we would talk about original artwork and the difference between that and maybe published artwork or work that's made on the fly, and just kind of explaining those differences.
Okay, we're going to start with the basics. This is a comic book.
Woo!
This is artwork in a comic book, so that you know, alright? Now, this is Ariel being covered up by the thing. This is original artwork. See? Original artwork.
What's original about it, Alex?
Okay, this is the actual artwork that the artist does when he's drawing the comic. There's an artist, there's an artist, and there's an inker.
Uh-huh.
So in the comic book world, there's published art and there's not published art. Published art is art that actually showed up in the comic book, and that's what the artist usually sells at a convention or through an art dealer.
Okay, so there's published art,
right?
It's published, and then non-published art
that has not been published that they sell, that they might sell at the convention.
They might sell at the convention. Which one's worth more?
It depends on who the artist is and what it's covered. This is published artwork.
So that made it in the comic?
Yes, this made it into a comic.
Okay.
Okay, this is done by this gentleman called Joe Rubinstein.
Joe Rubinstein.
And this was considered a splash page because you only see one image in the page.
Okay, so a splash page is the one character on the page and it's dominating the whole page, as opposed to little blocks with words, a dialogue, and plot.
Right. Those are called panels.
Panels. Okay.
So if you look at panels,
so that's a splash page and then a panel.
So if you look at panels, this is original artwork with panels on it. You can see it has different panels. This one actually has words in it. The older comic book pages, the ones that were made in the 70s and late 80s, they actually have words in them.
So, okay, so like this one's got a little like bite off of it. Like, do they come like that? Like not completely pristine?
Well, some of them do, some of them, because it depends on when they set it up in the printer. Some pieces got cut off for whatever reason, but it's still, as long as it doesn't damage the actual images, we're still good.
Now, is there ever a chance that you would buy original art that's been published and it's different than what's in the comic, or this is the final product?
This should be the final product. You should always have this. This will be the final product.
Okay, so then that's how you would be able to spot like a fake?
So far as I know, nobody makes fakes. What they do make these things called reprints where the artist, let's say he sold the original page, and so people keep on asking him for that page. So what he does is he'll redraw that page in the bottom. Let's say he reprinted the page or redid the page.
Okay.
And when he sells it to the person, he explains it to the person, this is a redone page. So quote unquote, it's still artwork, but it's not original artwork from the comic book itself. Okay. Now remember how we were talking about the pages sometimes have bubbles and they have words in them? Okay. So the older ones have that, but see, this is a newer one. This is from a couple years back. This is called Civil War. If you notice, this one doesn't have any bubbles in it or any words in it. That's because nowadays what they do is they draw the page, they scan it onto a computer, and then they do all the work into the computer.
Oh, okay, okay. So, but they still hand draw things?
Yes. Okay, okay. It's still hand drawn. If you notice, this one has panels, 1, 2, 3, a couple of panels down here. But the cool thing about this, if you notice, there's a lot of characters in here. Captain America, Spider-Man, the Punisher, Luke Cage. So that's what I like about this artwork. But if I could, I would prefer I would get the other artwork. If you notice this artwork, as compared to, let's say,
Kablam! Kablam!
As compared to this artwork, see how it's more splashy, it's got more color in it, it's got more definition, it's more black and white. This is on my right hand side is older artwork.
Okay, so it's got more dimension and depth.
Yes.
Okay. Whereas this looks like maybe not a quick sketch, but maybe like the second or third half of a sketch when you're trying to fine tune an image. Whereas this looks like it's the final product.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And if you get it signed by the artist, that would be that much better. Get it signed by the artist. This one particular one is signed by the artist. This one is signed. You can barely tell at the bottom that he signed it, but it's there. Now, when you go to conventions, you should look up the artist or the inker because they most likely will have that page if the page you're looking for. Also, what they sell at the conventions is they sell these things called prints, which they make for the conventions.
Convention print?
This is a convention print.
Okay.
This is a print. He sells it to you, and then he signs it. Because sometimes the artwork is a little bit too expensive for you to own. you know, if you don't have $85 or $100 or $200, depending on whatever the artist wants for that page, maybe you can't afford it, but you can afford a print because the print's only going to be $25, $30 at the most.
Okay. Okay, so they're still original prints, right? Or,
yes.
Okay.
Well, they're prints, but you don't know what it's limited to. You don't know how many prints he made.
Okay.
But it's one way to get to know the artist, and it's one way to get something from the artist that you might like for a particular character that you want.
Are they like Harry? Are they like convention exclusives?
For the most part that I know of, no. They might be, but as far as I know, no. No, enough about the artwork, all right? Whatever convention you go, most likely there will be an artist there.
Okay.
So, like once again, the comic book. Inside the comic book, it'll tell you the writer, the artist, and the inker. So what you do
they still have inkers still?
Yeah, they still have inkers still.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So what you do is you look at the convention, see who's going to be showing up there. Hopefully, it'll be an inker from a comic book that you like. So you find that inker at the convention and you ask if he has any pages.
Okay.
He might have some pages, he might not have pages.
Okay. All right, what were we talking about? Oh, how do you get the art, Alex?
Oh, are we recording?
Yes, that's been the whole time.
Okay. So what you do is you go to the comic book convention, you find the artist that you like. Hopefully it would have some of your artwork.
Are they easy to find?
It depends on the convention, Ariel.
Okay, so usually when you go to conventions, they do have like booklets or pamphlets of who's being featured. You can always go on the website. And sometimes people are last minute additions, they're pop-ins. If it's a smaller local convention, it may just be one flyer, not a whole exactly like a booklet or a pamphlet. And you may have to do some research and just walk around.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if it's just one artist, he'll be wanting to sell his artwork that much more, and there's not that many people asking for it. Maybe he'll give you a deal on that.
Yeah, and of course, if it's an artist that you like, you probably already like their page, and through social media, you'll be able to find out where they're going to be at.
And you can always ask him, you know, through the social media, you know, do you have any pages that I'll be showing up at this convention? Can I buy a page off of you?
Yeah.
Which is really, really good, because what ends up happening is after a while that he knows that you're an actual fan, he'll give you a better deal on the pages, and he'll start giving you better pages because he knows you're going to keep them.
So just as a recap, original artwork is published artwork. It made it into the comic. Remember that you can buy a splash page, which features one comic book character dominating the whole page, or a panel page, which is the separate panels that make up the actual comic book. Lastly, if you're going to be buying newer original published artwork, you're going to notice that there aren't any word bubbles or even action words. It's done on the computer nowadays. Thanks for watching this episode of People of Con. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us. If you want to know more about the original artwork that was featured in this video, there'll be links and descriptions in the box below. And don't forget to leave us questions and comments so that we know what you want to see here on People of Con.